Let's get the meeting started. First order of business is to approve the minutes I mailed out some time ago for the March 11th meeting. Are there any corrections, substitutions, or deletions? Being none, may I have a motion to approve? Diane, and then I'm going to look at, may I ask, Katie, did you second? Okay, all in favor, either raise your hand or signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? None. Thank you. Rusty, yeah, you got Rusty, you have to either turn your phone off.
I just muted him. He's all set.
Okay.
But we can still hear you through your computer.
You can?
Yeah.
Yes. So get rid of your phone.
I don't have a phone.
It's fine. It's fine the way it is. He's good. He's good. We got him.
Okay. Next order of business is to bring up to date about the easement with Eversource and the work of bringing in the different power line. Randy's not here today. He had to be in New York. But basically, the trenching work for the power line and the information cables, the communication cables, was done recently when the school was closed. I guess it's still closed. The actual power line is not going to be brought in until we get the full easement approved by the RTM. We're hoping that'll be done at the May meeting of the RTM. And hopefully we can move forward on this project then and we'll go forward with completing the installation of the power line. The power line involves 4 different parts. One is Eversource. Another one is Frontier Communications, which actually will put the new telephone pole on the east side of Mansfield Avenue. Then we also have the power company, which is Eversource to put the cable in. And I believe we have the Department of Transportation that we're dealing with in terms of crossing the road. So with all of these various things going on, we're hopeful to have this all in place within a month or so. That's where I stand. That's where we stand with our power line and our easement with Eversource. So, are there any questions about that particular project that we're doing? All right. The next part is to then go over the payment application number 3, which is for all the work that was done in March. I had sent out to everybody a copy of the 5-page summary of the AIA document, which shows a total amount to be certified if we approve it of $1,160,514.54. Dave, do you want to talk about this at all, or George?
I don't have anything to add. Certainly if there are any questions about specifics, I would defer to George, as he knows the details of what was submitted in that application.
Are there any questions? Hearing none, I will ask for a motion to approve payment application as presented to this meeting. Payment application number 3 in the amount of $1,160,514.54. Do I have? I'm sorry.
Duke, I'll motion to move that payment forward.
I'll second it.
That's the motion. Who seconded? Rusty seconded?
Sean.
Yes. Sean seconded. Is there any more discussion upon this payment application? Seeing none, all in favor, please indicate by either raising your hand or saying aye. Are there any nay votes? Any abstentions? The motion is carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next order of business is to talk about the monthly progress report. I have sent out the entire report to the committee. However, we only need to talk about a few pages of this report, and I'll let George carry the ball on that one. So George, up to you.
George, is there anything, do you want me to make you presenter? Is there anything that you wanted to share relative to any photos or anything?
Yeah, if you could, Dave, and then,
Sure.
yeah, I'll briefly go through it. There's a couple of things like the PCO and then, maybe some photos.
Okay, George, you should have access to present now.
Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just to go through briefly, the summary data as far as budget and cost, no real big changes. Still, healthy contingency and, healthy allowance. No new approved budget or change orders. We do have 3 or 4 I'd like to, just present, today. As far as the summary,
George, do you mind just enlarging your, zooming in just a little bit on the page?
Diane, we don't want you to see the information that's there. We just want to flash it on the screen.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Last month we talked about the soil offsite, and this month with the weather improving, Sean's Lawns also added more resources, so the soil was removed off site, and then they started excavating, and have since finished excavating part B lower level. It was about a week and a half, 2 weeks on the schedule. But we were able to do some resequencing and make some revisions. So and then also Sean's working Saturday, so we were able to make up some of that time. And then also we have scheduled starting Monday, we're going to be starting the erection of the steel, actually in the lower level of C. That's going to be starting Monday. And everybody's all set up for that. Yeah, like I said, we revised steel. We're going to start the 26th as opposed to the 14th. And then, as far as the overall impact of the schedule, there wasn't, because we did some resequencing and throughout mostly the roughness of the building. But we are on target, and we will be starting erection of the steel on Monday, the 26th. Currently, site he's completed the topsoil, mass excavations, continuing installation of storm sewer and piping in the site work. Academic wing, part C, we complete excavation and forming, lower level footings and walls, started waterproofing, backfilling. Structural steel has been fabricated, and like I said, we're going to be on site Monday, starting to the erection. Part B, continue with the excavation, placing of footings and walls. The lower part of B, footings and walls are complete. And we're actually continuing with the main level. The steel has been started fabricating. I would say should be complete, and they're going to move into start fabricating the A wing. And then part A, we've started soil nailing. The detention. We're excavating for the footings and foundation walls. And actually, the soil nailing is actually complete right now. They completed that this week, and then tomorrow to begin starting with the forming the footings and all of that. And the rest of the trades is pretty much submittals, shop drawings, those types of things. And then, as I mentioned earlier, these are the 4 PCOs. They've been reviewed and accepted by the, the subcommittee. Just wanted to present them here. We have the first one, a PCO.
George, this is Dave. Just one thing, just as a matter of course, Kip, would you like us to finish the update and then have a not a break, but just then talk about the actual changes, or would you just prefer to talk about the context within the report?
I would prefer that the change orders be brought separately at the end of this report, please.
Okay. And then, as I mentioned, schedule-wise, we're still holding the financial completion dates of, academically on the 14th, April 2022, and the assembly wing, May 2022. That's pretty much it. We got some pictures. That's the excavations.
And just so everyone knows, so that the way these work is that program MultiVista lets us key in the photos, so you can see on the plan on the lower left where the photo was taken from, so you can see textually the vantage point from where that photo was taken.
Hey, Dave, no pictures showing up on my screen. Is that,
Is anyone else able to view the pictures that George has up?
Yeah, I mean,
I see it, yes. It could be a setting, Duke, that you need to switch, instead of seeing the speaker, see his screen.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll figure it out. Thanks.
Yeah, and as Dave was saying, this area shows where where the picture was taken, kind of overlooking the site. And then just kind of spanning. And then this is the beginnings of the soil nailing. So they drive rods into the soil, probably about, I'm going to say 20 feet or so long. And then they tie it, kind of tie it together with wire mesh. And then they use a shotcrete, like a gunite type of thing. Spray it, and then that will hold the soil while they excavate. And they did that in 3 tiers. So right now this was the first tier, and they're complete with the 3 tiers. So like this is the lower level elevation. So they're probably down another, I'm going to say 20 or so feet, maybe a little less.
Actually, George, if you let me share my screen just for a second, I wanted to show everyone a quick photo that I took yesterday. So just let me just flick on one screen here. Where is it? Can you see the photo?
Yeah.
So that right there, and again, people on camera being, up here, you can't, it's hiding this, but this is, oh, what happened? What happened to it? But this is really, right within feet of where that wall is, as George said, that's, almost probably 15, 18 feet at least down to allow the construction of the foundation. So just to give you a perspective of the work that's happening outside of there. And hopefully, Luke, from your standpoint, that didn't affect the education that was happening in those ELP rooms and the other rooms adjacent.
No, we had some great conversations with the preschool students in general about digging and soil nailing. So no, it was very, very, it was informative, and honestly, a little rumble here and there, but again, kudos to the team. We're happy it's done, but they did a good job managing it all.
Great. All right.
Luke, I
Sorry, George, back
appreciate
to
you.
David, is
Luke,
that the
it's
extent of it?
The school.
future bill committee members.
Absolutely, future committee members are very, very excited about all of it.
Yes, Kip, that is the extent of the soil nailing.
Okay, Dan, you had a question.
Yeah, just in that photo, was that blue canopy the entrance to the school just to get
Yes,
kind of
exactly.
on the
Yep.
wall facing Mansfield?
Yes, exactly. That's the east face of the school. That was the long face, and then it returns back on the south side of the building.
Right. Thank you. Perfect.
Okay, George, back to you.
Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't know if anybody had any other questions.
Does, Katie, do you have all the safety equipment for everybody?
So I do, and most of it has been dropped off, I think with the exception of Kip, yours, and Duke's. So I can take care of that this week, or if you guys need it sooner, you're always welcome to come get it from my house. I think everyone else should have received theirs.
All right.
Thank
Good.
you, Kate.
Thank you very much. All right, you want to talk about the change orders?
Sure. Yeah, there was 4 that went through. First one, PCO 3. This was actually done during the scope review with the drywall trade contractor. This is the spray foam insulation that's located on the parapet. The roof, in the scope review, we were able to reduce some of that spray foam in that parapet detail, and that was a credit associated with that. Then PCO 5.
I just have a quick question about that. So I assume there's no,
Did you state the amount?
Oh, it's it's a credit of $4,642.
it's Diane. Just a quick question. I assume that was vetted through SLAM and in terms of vapor barrier, insulation, energy performance, and all that. It's the parapet, so I assume it was extraneous and removed. But just want to make sure everybody who was involved in insulating the building and waterproofing the building all saw that and approved it.
Correct. Yeah, actually, that was it was one of the first. It was the first PR that was issued. So SLAM, yeah,
We initiated it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So yeah, it went through.
And Diane, they actually issued a document, so that way the actual contract documents are revised to reflect that revision.
Yep. Then PCO 5, there was some supplemental steel. This came out of the coordination review process. Just some supplemental steel support for four rooftop units. That was kind of required, and that was for $6,362. PCO 6. Initiated by an RFI, there was 3 or 4 footings and some foundation walls that was lowered. More of a coordination process. That was for $2,755, and then the 7th one, PCO number 7, actually from the committee on an additional roof screen for BOA 3. And that was for 33,640.41. Those were the four.
George, I'm trying to follow your numbers because I'm looking at the PCOs under review in your report. Which column, or which number do we use? The number in column, the first column, or the change event number? I just want to know which one to use.
Use probably the first column.
Okay, so we have number 3, we have number 5,
Mm-hmm.
we have number 7,
And 6.
and number 6. And number 8, which is the changing out the windows in the gymnasium from was it Cal wall to Cal wall to clear story. That's not being approved yet.
No, that's in for review right now. So I'm still waiting for, review comments from, from SLAM. I think I said that in last week maybe. But yeah, those two are right now in review, 8 and 9.
And the one on building letter support structure,
Yeah,
that's also under review?
No, actually, I'll update that. Jeff reviewed that, and actually this work was the 966. That was actually in the original scope, so this is gonna change to 0. This will not be a piece of scope.
It will not be in there.
No, and
Okay,
then
so
there was some structural steel, but that was a trade-off. I think with the galvanized structural steel support versus kind of like a painted, painted. So that was like a no cost change basically with the structural steel, and then this was part of the original scope, the support for the sign itself. That'll be basically a no cost change, so that'll go to 0.
okay. So that just to recap, we're announcing to the committee that change orders as listed 003, 005, 006, and 007 have been approved by the construction oversight subcommittee because they have the financial authority to approve those limits, but we're reporting them all back to the committee as one shot, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And Kip, what we'll do from this point is now we will put together an AIA change order that officially amends our contract. That'll go to Nick, and then it'll get signed by whoever signed our contract, and then we will issue all of the trade contractor changes that are associated with these. And then the next time you'll see anything is when we'll bring before you, because Dr. Adley will have to sign the EDO 42 CO, which is the submission of the change orders to the state for reimbursement for eligibility.
Okay.
So what happens is we'll do changes on a monthly basis, so that way we never fall too far behind, so we don't risk losing anything to the 6-month rule that the state has for review of changes. So it'll take a few weeks to get the change orders out and back from the trades, and then we'll put that EDO 42 CO together and circulate that for signature.
All right. I want to make sure the whole committee heard what the process is and more importantly, how we're staying on top of this on a monthly basis.
Yeah, Kip, if I could just chime in to do a quick recap as well. So, whenever ONG identifies a potential cost or it's a proposal request from SLAM, right, they assign the PCO and the change event number. They vet the pricing that comes in from the subs along with SLAM, and then they'll send it to Rusty and I, who will then disseminate against the, to the oversight committee for approval as needed. Then they'll get direction and proceed with that. And then as Dave mentioned, it'll become formalized in a change order, on a monthly basis that can be billed for.
Yeah, Dan.
Were any of these change orders robustly debated at the oversight committee, or were they all pretty straightforward?
They were all, if I may, they were all pretty straightforward. The biggest one was the equipment screen, by the highest dollar value to it, but it was vetted out, and we all thought it was essentially necessary. So,
Thank you.
Dan, to follow up on that question, the roof screen, additional roof screen at $30-some thousand was highly questioned at the beginning. So they went back and they asked the people who had the steel involved, show us your pricing on the steel, show us how much tonnage you have, what was your original steel. They went through all of that. And Jeff Lamont at SLAM helped go through all that with us. So that it was questioned, but it was thoroughly vetted. But that was the only one that required that kind of look at closely. Okay.
So
Diane.
just one question. So on a monthly basis, we'll expect to kind of see this type of report, just understanding that the oversight committee has a decision-making capacity, but we'll just be made aware of decisions that were made on a monthly basis.
Unless it's a large change, then it will have to be voted on by the committee.
Right. They can only go up so far, Diane. Their limitations were to be able to respond quickly to changes that were needed between monthly meetings, and that's what they have the authority to do. That we as a committee have granted them the authority to do. But anything over a certain amount, and I haven't got it right in front of me here. The whole committee has to approve change orders of any substance.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember that. I was just in terms of the procedure of us reviewing the changes or seeing the changes, will we continue to see them on a monthly basis as well, just after the fact that we're aware of the changes?
I think by virtue of sending out the entire monthly progress report to everybody, which was your suggestion originally, Diane, you'll see them all being listed in there as potential change orders, so you can sort of get it, anticipate it, and start asking questions if you have anything about it. Okay, so this is merely reporting to the committee. They've already been approved as such, and we will eventually, as you say, next month or so, get an actual document to sign and get them over to Dr. Adley for his signature. The lucky guy. Okay. Are there any more questions about the project update and or these change orders which the subcommittee has approved? Okay. The next item of business is discussion of the cash flow forecast for soft cost. Background of this is Jen Terneski, our finance director, had asked us for a month-by-month projection of spending, construction side, soft cost side. And the reason for this, obviously, is to anticipate when the town wants to go out and bond, raise more money through bonding. And we've got the construction side well done, and the soft side, the soft costs, we need a little bit more work on. And I was hoping that Amy and Duke and Mike, knowing more about school systems, furniture, fixture, et cetera, could put together something like that, which would give us an approximation of where we were going to be spending the money on our soft costs. And the biggest numbers there are really furniture, fixtures, and equipment, the telephone system, and all of the technology equipment. Okay.
Thanks, Kip. So we went back and forth with some email, and Amy kind of organized a high-level overview of how that process is going to start and kick off. And then, in email conversations, and I know Amy and Dr. Adley got to speak yesterday too, I think the process really starts to kick off within the next month. But Amy, I'll let you give a quick update as to what you organized.
Sure, happy to do so. So what we looked at is sort of when the furniture and technology equipment have to be installed and backed up our schedule accordingly. And really, we only need a couple of months to review furniture and technology equipment with the parties responsible. So for the technology equipment, it would be Jeff Adams working with our technology and security consultant, Nick D'Agostino, who some of you might remember from the security design phase. So he'll work directly with Jeff, with me attending the meetings as oversight, and design and document the technology equipment. On the furniture side, Amanda Hastings will work with Luke and whoever you choose on your team to review furniture selections. So Amanda will come in with a proposed selection and let you pick, and then share that back. We might end up with 2 or 3 meetings. There's a lot of opinions about furniture. And any members of the building committee who would like to be involved in those meetings, let me know, and we'll be sure to include you. Gotcha, Katie. Our plan is to start those meetings next month because we know that it's difficult or sometimes challenging to meet with the school district during the summer. So we'll have a couple of meetings before the end of the school year in order to allow us to really design and pull selections and document over the summer. We'd like to come back to you in September with a final version and get approval. Go to the state in October. And then let me refer to my notes. If we can put the project out to bid, get their approval, and put the project out to bid between October 15th and November 15th, that allows for a comfortable procurement duration because we want to target the move-in dates in March. And so sometimes furniture has a long lead time, like 12 to 16 weeks. So need to get that worked before the end of the year. So that's the schedule as far as the design and documentation and state approvals for the technology equipment and furniture. And then, procurement of that will take place in 2 phases to align with the building move-ins.
And the only thing I'd add, Amy, is that we do have, the faculty who joined me for our initial round of room data meetings.
Yep.
I've selected them. They're phenomenal, and I believe that we'll be able to get some folks in over the summer. I'm here throughout the summer. The faculty that have been working on this before are really eager. So I don't want to preclude any conversation we need to have over the summer. So I wouldn't cross it off the list.
I appreciate that. Okay. So, I still think I've got Amanda already pulling together the information. So we'll be ready to meet with you all in the next month and kick it off. If we need to have follow-up meetings in the summer, we'll take advantage of your offer, but hopefully we won't need to.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks.
So Kip, you go back to some original budget stations, and Amy outlined it. The furniture budget is somewhere around $1.3 million. The technology equipment budget is somewhere around $1 million. So, I don't know, with your guidance, I guess my thought would be to I can touch base with Jen, go over this timeline that Amy has outlined and the high level that would get her in terms of understanding her forecast around funding.
Yeah, I think that if we can just give Jen, the construction budget is quite detailed. Of course, it comes from a very, very complicated schedule, which is very much worked out, and all the various trades are involved in that. But the soft costs, or these 3 big soft costs, it really is sort of an estimate, and I don't think it's going to control when the town goes to bond, but it certainly should add to the picture. Whatever your estimates can come up with, we ought to give it back to Jen as soon as possible, because I think she'd like to know, and I'm sure the Board of Finance would like to know, when does the town have to go out to bond?
Right. So if I can just add to that, of course, similar to the construction funding, everything is an estimate until we get the bids in. So
clearly,
that will be November of 2020.
Okay.
I haven't spoken to Jen about it.
Yep.
My sense is that it will impact the amount of the bonding, not necessarily the timing of the bonding. Because I
Okay.
think that, not right, the amount of the bonding is more tied to the construction related costs. And we just want to make sure that we haven't missed $1 million or $2 million that we need for the soft cost.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be as refined as the construction cost, but it has to be an approximate. Okay,
So
Good.
Kip, up again, and then maybe through Dan, the Board of Finance, just to give a high-level overview of time and the potential budget.
great.
Okay.
Okay.
Amy, quick question regarding the furniture. Since there are state listed vendors, correct, that have to be bid to, will it be an open spec then, or how does that work?
Our preference, Nick, will actually be to use the state contract because that tends to give us faster procurement and better control. Because as you know, if you go out to bid, you don't necessarily get exactly what you selected.
Right.
And in the case of furniture, we do like to, really try to end up with what's been selected, and that varies
Okay.
widely from manufacturer to manufacturer.
So utilizing this
pick-
allows
yeah.
you to kind of single source it, essentially?
Exactly, yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah, and to Kip's point for refinement of the pricing, once we get through a few of those meetings with your team, we will have narrowed down which vendors we're using off the state contract, and we probably will have a better than, it won't be as high level of an estimate at that point once we've selected the vendors. We'll actually get their state pricing.
Thank you.
Yes, the estimate will be very tight before it goes out.
Great. Is there anything else to discuss this morning on the building project? Is there any public comment? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Diane makes the motion, and Duke's backing it up.
Duke. Thank you.
All in favor? Raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, Kip.
Good day, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.